I went to North Hollywood High, and North Hollywood High had a bunch of Gentiles like me, and there were fuck-ups from the valleys.
By the way, people think Gentiles is a bad word. It is not.
No.
It simply says you're not Jewish.
Not Jewish, and their parents were all divorced, and everyone smoked and drank, and everything was a fucking shit show, and everyone lived in a bad apartment. And then I had all my Jewish friends from up in the Hebrew Heights up there in Studio City.
Hebrew Heights.
That's what the hills of Studio City were called.
Because they came from Hebron. That's why it's called Hebrew. But back to you, Adam.
Their parents were married. The kids were taken care of. They got good grades. And when we graduated high school, we all went to a construction site, and they went to Stanford and Berkeley. And I also saw the way my grandfather conducted himself. He wasn't my biological grandfather, but he cooked, he took care of everyone, he was loving, and everyone else was just a all-for-them shit show. And I started to appreciate Jews, you know. It was started to get built into me. And then I see Israel, and I'm like, I don't need to know all the nuts and bolts. I feel like they're the sane people in the region, and they need to be supported. And then I hear so many people taking a stand against, you know, divesting and all that kind of bullshit. And I'm like, first off, compared to who in that region, and why is Israel need to be divested from?
Compared to the rest of the world, Israel has more patents, inventions and so on than any country on the face of the planet other than America and maybe one more. Cell phone, the technology was invented in Haifa, Motorola Haifa. Star Wars technology, that's all Israel. It is a very small country. There are more people. First of all, Jews are very bizarre. There are more men, women, and children living in Guadalajara, which is a city in Mexico, than there are Jews on the entire planet. There's about 18 million in Guadalajara. There are 14.5 million Jews on the entire planet. And yet, do you have a lawyer?
Yes.
What's his name?
Mark Garagos.
Garagos. Well, he's not, but...
Is that a Jew? Okay.
I know of him.
Mel Schmeckelstein.
Of course.
Is
an
that
accountant.
what you're looking for?
Well, if you had an accountant or lawyer or thing.
Garagos could be Jewish.
No, I think Greek Orthodox.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, he's more a neighbor than an attorney.
Not common, but generally, you know, on the other hand, name a Jewish basketball player. Not so much, but they own the teams.
Yeah, so when you hear about the squad and many of these members of Congress and senators and stuff sort of going after Israel all the time.
That's okay.
I think, but I go, what's motivating
But it's nothing new. It's historical, and part of it, there's this Jewish cabal, this thing about the Illuminati and the Jews control it. I think it's suspicious to people when they see so many, well, for instance, at the Nobel Peace Prize. For one thing, Pulitzer was a Hungarian Jew, so that's suspicious. Wait a minute, he won the Nobel, but he's Jewish. Yeah, so the Nobel Peace Prizes are per capita dominated by Jews in economics and all this kind of stuff. So it is suspicious when you go to the law schools that just they're churning it out. And part and parcel of that is culture. It's what your culture dictates. And the rest is just goddamn hard work.
Yes.
Nobody is born a lawyer or a doctor or any of that stuff. You got to put in 12 years. That's after you graduate high school to get that. So when I see somebody with an MD or a lawyer degree and stuff, tip your hat. Here's a person who works harder than you do. No, that's not the way it goes. They go, that guy, he's a Jewish lawyer. Thank you. Yeah, you're right. He worked 12 years for it. By the way, you know how we know Jesus was Jewish? Well, a factoid. He lived with his mother until he was 33 years old. He actually thought his mother was a virgin. That's something. His mother thought he was God. That's another thing. And then he goes into his father's business. That's a Jew.
It's late at night. You should be tired, but you're shaking uncontrollably.
That's awesome.
Oh, Huel.
Can I buy you guys at least one drink just to celebrate?
This is a smart cocktail.
Just put some on his finger, just a little on your lips.